Yeah, thanks. Bill pretty much covered everything there. There's not a lot I can say. But yeah, thanks to everyone that set it up. The AgriProve guys, John Moore for coming to today, Dad for hosting. Basically, we're sharing this to hopefully add value to anyone in a family business that might have a similar challenge over time, that want to diversify enterprises such as carbon. We don't claim to be cutting edge or know it all. There are a lot of excellent businesses in ag that do a far better job than us, but we make lots of mistakes, and what we do is we aim to continually learn and adapt. Oh, it's a bit slow. Our vision. It's people, profit, land and cattle managed with integrity, balancing ecology, economics and tradition. We came up with that through the RCS Executive Link program, and yeah, I think it fits what we try and do. The current business is Taramba, Walloon, and we've got 4 lease blocks, so it's about 20,000 acres total. We run a backgrounding enterprise, commercial cow enterprise, and 2 sort of stud herds of about 500 red Brahman cows and 280 Brangus cows. Taramba was purchased in 1979 as 3 paddocks. It was extensively developed with fencing. Full credit to Mum and Dad for developing the country and doing most of the improvements. We simply followed on from it. They also bred a base of the stud herd that we run currently. Recent history, sort of 2012 to 2017, you know, I was just a young fella, and we were sort of full of beans, ready to take on the world, and we went and we were trying to go bigger, but basically we had Taramba and Walloon, and then we were leasing another 20,000 acres, sort of 4 places around and about, and we got up to about 6,000 head of cattle, and we hit the 2014 market bottom out and drought and whatnot, and it was pretty tough financially, mentally. You know, we were focusing on cattle a lot and trying to expand and do everything right, but we were probably just short on staff, short on planning, and we were just a bit too spread out. So that sort of led to burnout and a bit of a high stress situations, really, like, and I think I learnt from that time that we didn't want to be in that position all the time. And I probably learnt that we can turn a small profitable business into a large unprofitable one if you're focusing on just expanding, you know. We had to get the small things right and then go again, was our take on it. Bigger isn't always better, so we downsized a bit and we reset. I had a cattle-centric focus. You sort of get what you focus on, and we had a lot of cattle and probably not enough grass. Learned a lot of really good lessons, like the overall importance, like for a business to run and function well. Sort of learnt that have to have people first, so your circle of influence, wife, kids, family, friends, employees, they're the people that we can most have an effect on. Profit is next, so you got to be profitable to stay in the game. There's no good going all regenerative or letting everything grow and not harvest anything or not be profitable. And then land and ecology in an upward spiral, so making sure that that's on the right path. And then cattle are last, so they're important, but they can't be at the top of the list. So, and I think coming from a stud background, we always put our cattle first. You know, it's very easy to focus on the cattle, and it's easy to not focus on the grass. So yeah, for me it was focus on what you want, and it was grass and balance, and trying to figure out that balance. Some of the big changes that came about from sort of 2018, we completed succession with the help of John Moore, who's here today. Mum and Dad were very proactive in making that happen. I think I was 30 34 or something like that, so, 32 or 4. We took on more lease country again. We purchased Walloon off Mum and Dad. We attended RCS Grazing for Profit in 16 and then went on to do the Executive Link program, where you went for 3 years, where we met every quarter with 6 other businesses and started benchmarking. This gave us the tools to support our decisions going forward in the business. So we started on grazing charts, budgets, EBVs, pasture yields, planning, all the fun stuff. So yeah, 2017, we started on about 45k of fencing that it is now. I think that was a map I drew in 2015 or 16. So I had a bit of a plan in my head, which is sort of, if you see it there now, it's come through to that. So it was about 13 paddocks in 2018, and we've gone to 52 main paddocks, 60 odd with holding paddocks and stuff. And then this is a paddock that we'll go to today. It was originally a 100 hectare paddock, and we split it up and added Lacina. So there was a double bang there for the, we did the fencing and the water plus planted Lacina. And I just pulled this out of Maya the other night, and it showed from the 17 to 19 period, there was an increase of 55% in yield. So it more than paid itself back there. And then, the stock density increased by 1,220%. So, hopefully that added to some other benefits that are unmeasured, like more ground cover and a bit more resilience and a healthier looking pasture. That's the team. So that was, we developed 900 acres of Lacina at that time just to add a bit of value and carry more cattle. Then we went on to the natural sequence farming stuff. So we did about 8 kilometres of banks with ponds and spillways. It's all just laser levelled. One runs across the mountain up there about 4 kilometres, and one's back across the Downs country through here. That's the one behind us, and we'll stop at this point down here on the tour, and we can have a look at that bank. They're not big or anything, but it just, with the Lacina, it was actually starting to run. The cattle were walking along the Lacina rows, and after about 5 years and that big wet season in 2022, we ended up with quite big washouts going down the black soil. So we put that contour in, and hopefully we'll spread that water laterally, slowly, instead of straight down, And that's not a big hill or anything, it's just a slight gradient. These were banks on the mountain that we used to do quite regularly. We spent a bit of money on to try and stop a big washout, and they just kept flowing. In big rain they'd flow over or cut through, and they sort of, not pointless, but they, you kept repairing, whereas this is the natural sequence one, which, this fills and it moves laterally and spills out spillways that are all on a level part there. So, that's a bit of a difference in what we were doing. It's a video of one that's full. You're going to get commentary too, which stabling up with a bit of, I think that was about 140 mil of rain or something like that, or 100. So all that water, instead of coming down off the mountain, started to move laterally across the mountain and fill all those ponds all the way around. There's about 12 or 15 ponds. Yeah. We did a bit of washout remediation at the house road here. Just, that could be done anywhere. It just happened that it was going to eat the house road up. So we geofab and rocks from the quarry out here, and that's actually, you'll see it on your way in and out, but it's actually held up really well through those big wet seasons. So we started the project with AgriProve in 2022. We made some more changes to our practices, including adding MLA Grazing for data management, legume introduction, and the natural sequence farming stuff. This is our initial results, so you can see the higher carbon levels were either in floodplains where we're getting nutrients from elsewhere probably, or on the scrub country, which was probably, you know, all brigalow and naturally a higher carbon percentage. And our worst stuff is probably the sand flats, this sort of sandy solid now. That's another one. It looks quite harsh, but we sort of disturbed it pretty well with a stick rake and put the seed out, and yeah, it's just getting better and better, that country. This is our stocking rate and rainfall against our benchmark carrying capacity. So we set our benchmark here at about 24 stock days per hectare. It's not super high or anything, but we're sort of in that repair phase moving forward, and you can just see the pinch times where I made the mistake and probably didn't adjust carrying capacity enough. So we blew out, but in general trying to hold, you know, that's grass basically in the blue. If you've got that up your sleeve. Last year, another big mistake. You'd think we'd stop learning those mistakes, but we did it again. But I think the point is that even though it happens, when it rained, repaired really well, bounced back quickly. It was quite resilient, you know. That's the MLA trial plot that we'll go to at the end of the trip. That was it just the other day. That's probably 2017, the end of those really dry years, and we had plenty of cattle. We're looking into, you know, going ahead, some other things going on that we might look into is layering reef credits or tree plantings when that becomes allowed. We'd like to package up and market our current ACCUs to a buyer that aligns with our values. Our big challenge here probably, but you guys will be able to point out things, and fresh eyes on a place is always nice because everyone will see it differently. But we're probably challenged to utilise the rain and the biomass that we have. So we're still rotating, but we could possibly be, you know, rotationally overgrazing is how I form, because we're still not knocking down the coarse plants and they're still getting to choose the softer plants or the more palatable plants. So part of that, we might move there's a breeder herd next door on lease. We'll probably do a swap with them, and we haven't really had breeder cattle in the system for about 6 years. So it's sort of showing up that there's not enough impact happening, whereas the young cattle were good when it was in a repair position, but probably need some big cows on there to sort of disturb it a bit. So we'll move them back, and then, yeah, we're trying to manage all that without doing high density grazing, because high density really does take a lot of labour and fine management, and if we stuff it up, the little bit that we've done, if we stuff it up, it's a big stuff up on animal productivity, and it can be hard to get back from. In the genetic development side of things, we're looking to include a methane measurement in our EBVs, which we're working on with a group, Frontier Genetics, that we're part of, and just keep selling efficient, productive genetics. We continue to learn and progress with the challenges that arise and not get set in our ways. And then the stars. None of this system works without good people, and Pete, our manager, is the backbone. He keeps the show running with a good eye for grass and cattle. Maurice over here, he's a new man to the team, and he's only been here a month, but he's a great young person. Dad's here with the knowledge of all the places, and he's always willing to help out and still helps advise on the genetics and the overall direction of the business. Then there's us. My wife couldn't be here today. So we manage this now from the Sunshine Coast down near Montville. Tracy started medicine down there with the aim of being an emergency doctor, and I'm back and forth a couple of times a month. My focus on family, genetics, sales, purchases, stud recording, all that sort of stuff. little bit of golf here and there. Don't tell Pete. But yeah, that's pretty much where we're at.